Hi, it's Rosie at RoseByNameCo. I have another journal share today, and this is a larger book that I've made recently called Specimen. And this is a hardcover made from a vintage book. It has this beautiful motif or design over here that I've kept. And here it was just plain green, and I thought I would put a little bit of a paper and fabric collage that I made of the specimen, such as this man in a bottle. And I'm not sure how he got there, but someone put him in there, and he's actually corked. He's locked in this bottle. And here's a little skeleton charm, and then an owl. And an owl, actually, if you see it, has a little prey in here. Another specimen. And the specimen here of a medical kind that I got from my 1800s medical book that I have. And I haven't been using the original so far pages, but I made copies of them. But I do still have the book, and at some point I might as well start using the pages. And here I have a little bit of zodiac signs or some astrological meanings. And I did put a metal title plate here and my little red brads. And there's just more fabric here that I added. And the spine, well, before I get to the spine, let me tell you that the size of this book is 9 inches and 6 3/4. So it's a large book, like I mentioned. And then the spine is also 2.5, also a large one. It has some beads on the bottom. And this beautiful fabric that kind of fit in with the rest of the book. And then I made a tassel. And the tassel has different fibers, ribbons, and twine, and it has some beads here on this one, such as, what I like, some shiny beads, and then something that goes more with the cover here as well, and a little bit of shiny fabric here. And it's removable, of course. It's on a clip over here, and you can remove it at any time if it's too much for you. And then the back of it, this is what the front looked like as well. So it has this empty spot. Now, perhaps you might want to put something on this yourself, collage something on top of that, or leave it as it is. It does have a beautiful vintage feel as well of the book. And it has some ribbons inside here, and a bit of charm, and a key charm over here as well. So let me show you inside Specimen. It has 3 signatures and about 110 pages for this one. I love the green. It's sort of like, it gives it a more of a musty or old feeling as well. And I used some of the original pages that were in this book, such as this one, and it has this beautiful naturally dyed color or naturally aged color that we like in these books. And then here I have a fabric, well, not a fabric, it's a lace, I suppose, lace pocket, and in it here I do have a vintage postcard, also very beautiful in the browns and in the beige hues and so on. And in the back you can write on it if you wish, because it is blank, but it's beautiful on this side. And here as well, this is there's a little bit of a story in this book about Dr. Ryerson. And he was a well-known doctor, and but something has happened. I will let you know along the side in the book. And just what happened, that he started collecting the specimens. that we're going to see in this book. And these are his glasses. You can actually, if you put this in front of your eyes, you can see through it. I punched holes in it so you can actually look through it and maybe see the world in a different way. I'm not sure. And then here is his key to his office or laboratory, or where he eventually works in the basement. Because at first he has a nice practice going that was left to him from his father, Carl. And things were good for a while. And then he broke his arm and things turned differently. So anyhow, this is where this book actually had this edition writing about the book. And then I guess it also kind of stuck to this side. But I love that. I haven't seen that very often, that it has a small piece attached to it. Then I added over here, these are the gates to his house, number 409. And I would not enter this house if I knew what was going on in there. Anyways, maybe it happened in 1905. And we do see some skulls over here. And it is a beautiful house, but it is haunting or a little bit mysterious as well. So I'm not sure if I would enter right away. I might look around a bit first. And these are some of the trees that are around the property. Hickory tree, willow tree, and oak tree. So a beautiful setting here. Let me see if I can fold this back. So enter if you dare. And I have a punch for this little hooky thingy that very carefully you can use. I did glue two together so it's a little bit sturdier, and use it as a closure. And this was a parchment paper. And, oh, I'm trying to undo my pocket. On the back, actually, this opens up, and it's a beautiful specimen page. I'm not sure if it was from this book or a different book, but a beautiful 2-pager of flowers. However, not any flowers. These are British poisonous plants. So this is something he got into eventually, using herbs in different ways, including the poisonous herbs. And I know that nightshade would be one of them, but some of these other ones I didn't know that they were poisonous. So now the actual book is the encyclopedia, and inside here in this lace pocket I have a write-up about Dr. Ryerson. This is from an actual book. So I'm not sure if he was Dr. Ryerson from the Ryerson University in Toronto, but he did go to school. You know, he was a well-known doctor, very well educated. And this here is his wife. He was into peculiar things and so on, and he was very interested in his wife when he met her, and she was 7 feet tall. So no one in her family was that tall, but she was very tall and beautiful, and he fell in love with her, and he married her. Her name was Anna. And then here's something that he might read, like the Guinness Book of Astounding Feats and Events. And this is also vintage from a paperback. And I'm not sure if it has any year here, 1975. And so this would be something he might be reading or be curious about, and about when people lay on needle sharp nails. Why do people do that, really? I'm not sure, but there is a little bit of a writing about it here. And then some other things that have happened, or something like this man can write back and forth, up and down, whichever way, while blindfolded. And some other things. And he has contents here, maybe from another book. And in the back, I have a little bit of a skeleton, also learning curious things. And this is just a beautiful sheet of paper here. And then I added, here's another skeletons. They're all over the book. So if you're not into skeletons, then I'm not sure if you want this. But anyone who likes anything a little bit mysterious or curious, like this image is from the past, of course, and very nicely done. I'm not sure actually it's a sculpture or I'm not sure, but it is a beautiful image. And here in the back I put some vintage or coffee stained fabrics in here as well, and it's beautifully stained paper. And here he has maybe a lineup of, it says salt, and then poisoning antidotes, some different things that he might be keeping in his laboratory. And this is an authentic envelope, and in it he is keeping, let's see, he is keeping bats, little bat folder. So he's interested in bats as well, and their life and what they do and so on. And this is the gates that you saw there in the beginning. Also, this is the entrance to his house there. And these might be some things that he's keeping in his lab, like scissors and sulfur, bottle of sulfur, and this beautiful vintage envelope. I did cut off a piece of it. I do use it somewhere else in the book, but it just fit better here this way. More vintage book pages, and then some of the fabric collages that I like to do. And then on this side, first we have a illustration from another book, also very beautiful and a little bit mysterious, a face in the door. And he's holding the key, he's about to open the door. Not sure if that might be Dr. Reynolds. So this is Dr. Reynolds. I don't know. I'm sorry, not Reynolds, Ryerson. Yes, Ryerson. And here in the back you can write a little bit. And here are some specimens that he might be keeping. And then this is from an award. So he won some kind of award in his research maybe or something, medical research. And here, I have an old book with birds. Let me see. I'm pretty sure that opens. Yes. Just that I've glued something on it. There we go. So I've glued just a little bit of a writing spot here, and you can write on here as well. And I have a book on birds. It's all black and white and a few color plates in it, but mostly black and white. And these are some bird eggs that maybe he's using for something. I'm not sure. Or if he's letting the eggs hatch. And then here as well is a little bit of like a strip. Index card. And this is actually from the microscope. When you look through the microscope, you might see some kind of living beings or something going on like this. So that's something odd that I wanted to include in the book. And here are some specimen as well. In the jars. I'm not sure what he's keeping in the jars. Maybe earlobes? No. Oh my God. No, I'm just joking. Maybe pears or something. Anyways, it is a specimen jar that he has in the closet. This is just a little bit of a digital collage that I made. I love the colors here. And then this is a vintage piece of fabric. It was a quilt, really, and it was falling apart. And well, I will just use that. So I have some photos here also that I wanted to show you. And this is Dr. Ryerson's, I don't know his first name for some reason. I just want to call him Dr. Ryerson. But this is his father, Carl. He does have a name. And in the back, it's got writing of the, I guess, photography studio maybe. And anyways, it is very pretty print here and some writing. And also I love the way there's some red dots on here as well, because they are researchers, scientists, doctors, you know, they do experiment. And anyways, this is Dr. Ryerson himself when he was little. And I think there's quite a resemblance between the two in the eyes and the nose. So anyways, that's him when he was little, and he's always looked up to his father, tried to be like his father, but he always felt a little bit less than genius as his father was. So he always has a little bit of a complex that is not good enough. So he's always trying more and more, but sometimes just too hard, and things go wrong. And in this one here, that's printed on like thin, I'm not sure if it's parchment paper or something else, very thin. And inside here, let me see if I can get it out. Okay, I have an envelope that I made. And it says on it, sometimes I like to use some wordings from whatever, and like a half a sentence or something like, would it not be wise to? I don't know, you can fill in the blank, I guess. And then, well, there's his call here. And inside we have some vintage book page, coffee stain page, a little bit more of a skeleton, a writing spot, and some lace. So you can use these throughout the journal and make your own alterations as you wish. And now here's Dr. Ryerson in his older age, maybe after he retired, but I'm not sure that he actually retired. He just kept doing his thing as long as he could. And then maybe that's a picture of his mother. And this is the actual spine of the book. And it was a good spine, but I wanted something larger, so that's why I changed it. But I did include it here so that you have it. And then in the middle of the first signature, we have some beads and a few more specimens here. So this is, yeah, Dr. Ryerson especially liked something odd and different about feet or about hands. So this one has a little pinky that's a little bit off to the side. I just like the way it kind of falls this way, the fingers, and it is a print I made, but I put it on the vintage book page and then coffee stain page. And then here as well, this is something he might be reading. Invention is a device for girls who think that dimples make them look cute. So something to cause a dimple or make a dimple. Isn't that strange? So if you don't have dimples, you can make them, apparently. And then Midas. I guess this might be the original, I'm not sure, what do you call it? When you're sleeping and maybe you're snoring or you don't have enough air, you use that. And in the pocket in the back, a little bit more of a skeleton. And you can open it up and write a little bit more in there. And then a whole page here. And this one too, you can always write on the back as well in here. So this goes over here. Always some fabric bits and so on. And these are coffee stained, well received from, I don't know, like checks or something that he might be using to buy supplies. And then over here, he does like to travel every once in a while, and he likes to see places that are abandoned or in ruins, but historic places that are of some value. And so he does go and do some trips with his wife, Anna. And then here he is doing some work. And this is from a book spine right here on this vintage book page, and this as well. More map, and then here's a skeleton of the hand. Beside here, I have a scrapbook where all these vintage little poems or articles were pasted into, and I do have quite a few pages of it. I'm using it little by little. The pages were black originally, and there are different things maybe that you might want to read on this. And then this is Dr. Ryerson maybe, and his very tall wife. And in the back is another authentic photograph, maybe somewhere where he is on a trip with his colleagues when he's looking maybe for more specimen to bring home to his laboratory. All kinds of little fringes and fabric pockets and so on. Maybe he might use this for a specimen to put a number on it. And I do try to give you some coffee stain pages, other pages to actually write on, as well as do a lot of reading, I guess, of different things. Little pockets, big pockets, and so on. And this one is also a microscopic, from the microscopic book that I have, where it's all about these very strange looking things. So you might read it over here to see what it is, but I just like the beigeish tone on this, and very, very interesting pattern. And then in here are just some words that maybe he cuts out and then he puts on a file or something when he uses those poisonous plants. So over here is a tag, a little bit of eyelash trim, and it is a spider and a spider's web. So I wound thread over it to make it look like a spider's web, and it turned out pretty good. And some burlap here, or it might be from a book page. Let me see. Oh no, yeah, it is from a book spine as well. And there he is. So he was a standard family practitioner, and he was doing very well. But something happened on one of the trips, and he broke his arm, and it didn't heal very good. Even though he had his own doctor look after his arm and everything, but it just would not go back to the same. But he still wanted to practice medicine, so he got more into the research side of things. And but when he used his hand, which didn't work very well, didn't do things that he actually wanted to do, he did a few mistakes. So those mistakes ended up in his specimen jars. Okay, a little bit more of coffee stained papers. This is a little bit thicker than your average printing paper, more like scrapbook paper maybe. And a little bit more poison here bottle, and this beautiful pink, old looking, I did coffee stained piece of fabric. And then here's a whole skeleton from another medical book I have. And then this is Dr. Ryerson's specimen number 0402 with maybe his arm bone, I'm not sure. And then here are a couple of things as well. Just a little something to put a title on or a date. And yeah, he had crows all around his house. So he learned to live with them. And, well, like I do, I have crows all around. And many times there are like 20, 30, 50 crows in the yard having a meeting. And anyhow, so here are some of the eyeballs that he collected as specimen. And here's a writing spot that you can, you can always glue it. If you don't need so much writing, you can always glue it somewhere and write on it. Oh, like in the back here. Here's another microscopic image. Very beautiful, almost like a feather, but there might be bones inside the ears of some animal or something. I'm not sure exactly. And here as well, but look at the colors, just beautiful colors in that. And on this one, I have a little owl, if you want to put her somewhere. And in the back of the owl is a dissection of a heart, perhaps a human heart, I'm not sure where Dr. Ryerson got that from. And here's a little hedgehog that might be running around in his yard. Hopefully it's not in his specimen cup. And then another picture of his maybe mother or sister or somebody. And in the back it does say Trenton, New Jersey. And it has a name here, Carrie. It's a thicker type. Oh, here a little flip. And something about demons and familiars. I'm not sure what he might be doing with that, but maybe he had some interest in witchcraft or black mass or I don't know, whatever it talks about here. And then also this is just something that I cut, and then I thought, well, I could use these fibers still, and I think it looks nice, and just something for tactile purposes. And beautifully coffee stained page here that I just left as it is because it's just too pretty to put anything on top. And then this way to his laboratory, I guess. And here's the middle of the second signature, and also beads in here. And then in this lace pocket here, first I have maybe if this is the foyer of his house. And then this is upstairs to the bedrooms, and then downstairs to the basement where the laboratory is. And over here, just something that he goes by. This is from a little book of thoughts or something, or inspirations. So he tries to, be professional, be profitable, be profound. He wanted to be profound like his father, like I said, but it didn't quite happen. And he's always has a little bit, like I said, he's ashamed that he's not a genius, even though he is a very good doctor, but not what he wanted. And then here we have this is another pocket here. And something from the pharmacy that he ordered. And this is a little pocket as well that you can glue in somewhere and then put something into. So he needs a lot of this smaller bits of paper to put all over his research. Now over here, this specimen number 24 is this hand in a box, still with the ring on it. And I'm not sure if that might have been his mother's, perhaps, that he's keeping, because both of his mother and father are deceased, but he's still thinking of them often, and, well, maybe a little bit obsessed with them, especially his mother was 7 feet tall, his father was a genius, and so on. And this is something about werewolves, I believe, and what kind of life they might be living. There's a little bit of a illustration here as well. And then this is a large sheet here that I have with this beautiful shiny fabric. And I did some stenciling. And another large sheet that I have in this journal is from a vintage book of fortune or something to that sort. This one is the shape of the hand. So like I said, Dr. Ryerson has a thing for the hands, so he collects all kinds of images of the hands. And then look at this one here is a whole handprint and what you can tell about the shape of the hand. Yeah, he's a little bit strange, that's for sure. And here's a tailbone, it looks like the spine. And then also Demons and Familiars page with the tailbone coming over here. And a jar of specimen here. Laboratory exhibit, specimen 211. This is something, a digital collage that I made. Something from, about Henry VIII from a vintage book. Ribbons, of course, everywhere. I have ribbons and some kind of fabrics in this one here. This is the other part of that envelope, Dominion Express money orders. I guess if you want to mail them, that's what you were using. And here, just a couple of bits of paper that he might be making notes on. And here's the microscopic page, and then I added a little bit more page here to write on, and with the skeleton. Here, one pocket that you can put something into of your own. More of the strange microscopic things. And some different things. This is also from a spine. So I added, on this coffee stain paper, I then added drops of thicker coffee. And that's how you get these beautiful dots on there. And then this is from a book. I love the large print. So I included a couple pages from that. And there's an illustration here. Here as well are some of the tools Dr. Ryerson may be using for different things, for cutting up different things. I know that they kind of spook me out. Especially at the dentist, the instruments, when you come and you see it there on a tray, they're gonna, dig into your mouth with all these sharp things. So I'm not, I procrastinate going to the dentist when something's wrong. When I should go sooner, I go later. Anyhow, so a little bit more of different fabrics and threads here as well. And here's an image of Dr. Ryerson where he's studying maybe at the library or at a museum or somewhere like that, where he also tries to soak in the knowledge to be like his father. And then sometimes he just goes for a walk in the woods. And look at this beautiful lace pocket here. And he has a patent on some of his work. And that he did, maybe he, I don't know, invented something that holds, maybe that holds up. Looks like a, I don't know if that's a hip bone or a shoulder bone, but he invented something that would go into the bone to hold it steady. Maybe he did that because his arm is broke and he needed something like this for his arm to work, but it didn't quite turn out the way he wanted. So there he is in the woods, just thinking and a little bit more writing about his work and the patent that he received. And then in the back is my own collage that where I put some things in the basement where he also makes notes and writes. He has pictures of these items. And there's a lady here sitting with just, you know, the top half of her and half of a humongous spider. And he has a friend here that's also learning, it looks like. And in the back you can write something. So that's another achievement that he has managed to do. And then here is a set of, I don't know if you can see it, red, almost like little eyes or something, beads anyways. They are beads. From another vintage book here. And maybe that's his father, Carl. And this is his mother. And quite a lady, very, very spooky here, with the eyes look blank almost. And there is poor Dr. Ryerson sitting next to his mother, and he looks a little bit scared. Maybe she was a stern parent, I'm not sure. And I'm not sure her hands, the way she has her hands, if she had an extra finger. Let's just pretend maybe she had an extra finger or something. And yeah, that's him. And he looks a little bit scared to me here. And that's why he always tried to do really well, because his parents expected that of him. And this is from the medical book that I have. So I use the actual foot illustration here with all the bones. And it is, you know, quite something that there are so many bones in our foot. So many little bones and all these things here. I mean, how do we even manage to walk on that? I'm not sure, but we just take it for granted. Anyways, and then this is something I printed. And more of my coffee stained pages. A little bit of a bead over here as well. And inside here, well, here we have, well, first of all, a spine bit over here. And then it looks like his wife Anna is maybe serving a head on a tray. Quite interesting. Well, this is an image from the past that I found somewhere. I did not make this in Photoshop. So that might be some of the specimen from the basement. And here is a collage with some birds and just something that maybe he is studying. And here's the other side of that medical page. And over here, specimen number 90. Let's see what's in this envelope. I do have a, you can see my blanket on me because I'm in a book nook here by a few windows, and it's a little bit chilly here. But look at this poster. Isn't it beautiful? Wow. Let me put it maybe this way so you can see the whole thing. It is beautiful, beautiful colors, very vintage. I don't believe it is from this medical book, but maybe it's early 1900s from the original Book of Knowledge that's in here. That's where I got it from, where the cover is from. And I did, well, I did decide to part with this, to go with this journal, but if you look at it, it's just beautifully printed. And it does show you, or tell you on the bottom, all of the different things. I guess they have numbers, and then you can check out what is what. So this is something that Dr. Ryerson might have framed on his wall. I mean, this piece is also beautiful enough to be framed as well. And in the back, you can write on it. It is completely blank, or just keep it as it is. So this is his prized possession that was passed on to him from his father. The specimen number 90. And then over here, I did leave this blank. This is an actual envelope of this size and in the craft color. So beautiful, just perfect for here. And then here, speaking of, here's a thing for the hands. This is something I printed here, this photo. Yeah, very strange fingernails growing upwards instead of downwards, and very strange and odd looking. So he's keeping that as a specimen. Here's a little stamp. It's actually a sticker, some sort of maybe promotion on that stamp. It is original though, authentic, and then authentic postcard. And this is probably somewhere in a cathedral that he might be visiting. He liked architecture and visiting things like I mentioned, doing his trips sometimes. And he finds many things that he likes to keep in his basement laboratory during those trips. And here as well. Just a bit of different papers here to use in this lace pocket, and then an envelope here. Here's a bird, and inside another prized possession of his that he has of his father, Carl. This is an actual vintage music page that was falling apart, so I put it in plastic like this. And this is where Dr. Ryerson keeps his father's lock of hair. Yeah. So he has things like that he's keeping just for his own, that gives him inspiration, or holding on to some piece of his father and so on, thinking that it might help him become a genius. But that doesn't always work. And then handle with care. This is his father's blood sample, which is Tim Holtz ink, of course. And but let's just pretend these things. So he keeps that securely in this envelope so that he can always look at it when he's feeling inferior, I suppose. And just winds around this button. And vellum, oh yeah, vellum, maybe it's not parchment, it's vellum, this thin paper that I found. And there he is. He's walking in the woods trying to get inspiration from nature. And this is fabric. And then his date book that he might be using. Or maybe a sheet where he writes his prescriptions for turpentine and linseed oil, doctory things. This beautiful marble paper that was from another book, but it's it's one of those pages at the end and in the front. But I like the black. Usually they're red or orange, is called different colors. And then this is also from the book with large print, and it does have another image in the back here. And Dr. Ryerson, during his travels, also went and found the North Pole. So he is a genius in a way. He just doesn't see that in himself, but he certainly is a genius to me. And this is where I bound the book together and put this beautiful copper fabric to hold it down. And then this is from his trip to the North Pole. And then some of his notes that were microfilmed. And grand opening night, something at the institute that he went to, a ticket maybe of a sort. And a little bit more ribbon over here, and beautiful space to write here. And at the end, in this beautiful red pocket, in my logo here, I have a bit of well, not a notebook, but a folder, and in this folder is a specimen, I guess, a bottle. It says blood. Of course, blood is in us, and perhaps that's why that is red. I didn't really even think of that. That is a coincidence. So in this notebook or folder, he's keeping a few things that he uses for inspiration. Also, maybe he'll make notes in this. So he has many folders and notebooks to make his notes in. And he does have a couple of pages here, beautifully stained, coffee stained pages. And a specimen in here as well. Maybe strands of hair, I'm not sure. And a book page. It is quite a thick paper, and it does say, what does it say in here? It does actually say, oh, is this French? This is probably French, but it looks like doctrines, philosophies. Maybe something to do with doctor thingies, but it is French. Anyways, and more of that pink fabric. Maybe some strands of DNA. I'm not sure. You know, a bit of a fabric here as well. So that's something you can write into as well. And here I put an eyelid in here, and then just tie the eyelash trim on it, and I just kind of wrap it like this a couple of times and then put it down here, and it stays put. So this is a Specimen. It is a large book. You can check it out in my Etsy shop. Lots of things in it, lots of authentic items, and a bit of a story that you can follow as well, and add things that maybe Dr. Ryerson might add into it, or just write whatever it is that you feel like the book might need. And hope you're having a great day. Thank you for watching. It's Rosie at RoseByNameCo. Bye-bye.